Hello everyone, this is going to be our second part on polynomials. Already in our first part we have seen the basic definition of the polynomial, and also we have seen the conditions that are needed for an algebraic expression to become a polynomial. So basically what we have seen in that lesson, so just we have seen that the powers of the variables, whatever the variables involved, are going to be whole numbers in case of polynomials. So let us take our discussion further in this particular session. In our earlier session, already we have seen how to count the number of terms in the given polynomial, and also we have seen one case of classification of polynomials depending upon the number of terms involved. That means the number of variables involved we have seen, and also just we have seen the basic definition of a polynomial, and also we have seen how it is very different from an algebraic expression. Basically, polynomial is also an algebraic expression, but the condition is all the exponents. Suppose if you take 3x square plus 9x, here the variable whatever it is there, let us say x and x, here the power is here 1, the power is 2 here. In every case, whatever the variable you take, if all these exponents are whole numbers, then we can call it as a polynomial. Otherwise it will be simply an algebraic expression, but it won't be a polynomial. So remember, the basic condition that is needed for an algebraic expression to become a polynomial is going to be on our exponents. If all the exponents are going to be whole numbers, then very well it can be a polynomial. Just remember, we are focusing on only the exponents part. Okay. We also have seen that how the terms can be labeled, like suppose if let us say minus 3x square is there. So just for this particular x square, this is going to be the coefficient, and for this particular x, this is going to be the exponent. So this also just we have discussed in our earlier session. Now in today's session, just what we are going to see is going to be majorly we will focus on the zeros of the polynomial and also on our degree of the polynomial. So we shall see in detail what are zeros of the polynomial and what is the term degree of the polynomial means. So these are the things that we are going to discuss in today's session. First of all, let us see what is the term the degree means. Okay, suppose just I will make it simple for you. Suppose you have a polynomial, and in that polynomial there will be many variables, and those variables will be having individual exponents. Now just you have to do one thing, just focus on your exponents only. You write down all the exponents. Now out of those exponents, whatever is the highest value, that is we call it as degree of the polynomial. So let us take an example. Suppose we have a polynomial 3x power 6 plus 9x minus 6, let us say. Okay, now in this particular thing, what is happening here? So for this particular x, the power is going to be 6. So write all the exponents individually, and here for this one there is 1. And always remember, for a constant one, just we can assume 6 into 1, and 1 I can read as x power 0 also. Just we can mention it, otherwise just we can neglect it also, no problem. So here, so 6, 1, 0. Out of these, what is the highest value here? That is going to be 6. So 6 is the degree of the polynomial. First of all, it has to be a polynomial. So it is a polynomial. Why? Because the powers are whole numbers here strictly. All the variables, whatever it is there, they're having whole numbers as the powers. That means exponents. So in this case, I can say 6, 1, 0. These are the exponents that are involved in this particular expression. That means polynomial, out of which 6 is the highest, that means the largest among all these three. So that is why it is going to be 6th degree polynomial. That is what we can say. So just we take one more example, like here in the polynomial 5x square minus 8x power 7 plus 3x. In this particular thing, what is happening? See here, just don't focus on the exponents here. So here for this particular term, the power is 2. For this particular term, the power is 7. And for this particular one, x power 1 will be there, default 1. Out of these 7, 2 and 1, what is the highest one that we have? That is 7. So this is going to be 7th degree polynomial. So basically remember, it is the highest value, that means the largest among the exponents is going to be your degree of the polynomial. First just focus on the exponents. Out of those exponents, whatever the highest value you find in the given polynomial is going to be our degree of polynomial. Let us take a few more examples. So see here, in the first one here, 4y cube minus 3y plus 8. So here y power 3 is there, so just you write the exponents 3 aside, and here y power 1 is there, 1, and here a constant is there. For a constant, always remember, just we can write into 1, and that 1 can be written as x power 0. Just we can write 0, otherwise just we can neglect it also. Out of these three values, so 3 is the largest, so that is why it is going to be third degree polynomial, or we can say that the degree of this polynomial is going to be 3. And now see this one, 7p plus 2, 7p plus 2. So 7p plus 2 when we have, so here p power 1 will be there by default. So here variable involved is p, so for that p the exponent is 1. It is the highest, right? So that is going to be, it is going to be the degree of this particular polynomial is going to be 1. Now see this one, here m power 8 is there, m power 1 is there, and m power 13 is there. So here see 13 is the highest among them. So 13 is going to be the degree of the polynomial. Now just remember, as in all these cases, here if you see, all these polynomials are one variable polynomials. What are one variable polynomials? That means only one variable will be involved. So here see, in this first one only y is involved, in the second one only p is involved, and the third one only m is involved. So there is no problem in such cases. But the real problem arises when our polynomial is going to have more than two variables or two variables, for instance. So let us take an example for that. For example, our polynomial is, let us say, 7xyz plus y. So see here, there are two terms in the polynomial. So 7xyz is one term and y is one term. Now see here, y power 1 is there and z power 1 is there. Y power 1 is there and x power 1 is also there. So in such cases where your polynomial is going to have more than one variable and in a single term the variables are under product, in such cases we should not say the degree is going to be 1. So whenever there are terms which are under product, we have to add all these exponents whatever we have. So as in this case, just we have 1, and for this 1 and 1. How many ones are there? So 1 plus 1 plus 1. So the degree is going to be 3 but not 1 in this case. So remember, suppose if there is a, let us say, 79 x square y square plus y square. So this is the thing that we have. So this is a polynomial for sure. Why? Because variables are x and y and the powers assigned to them are whole numbers strictly. So in this case, suppose see, we need to find the degree. What we will do, see here highest power is 2 in this particular term, just keep it aside. But in this case, this is x square y square and these two terms are under product. In this case, what should we do? Here whatever 2 is there, for that we have to add this particular 2 also. So what is 2 plus 2? It is 4. So here highest power is 4, not 2. So whenever the terms are under product in the same term, that means the variables are under product in the same term, just we have to take the addition of all the exponents that we have in this particular term. So that is how we determine our particular degree of the polynomial whenever it comes to more than two variables or two variables. So let us take a final example here. So here our example is 9x cube y plus z power 14. Now see, for individual term, just you take first for this particular term, what will happen? So the highest power that we can have here is x power 3 is there, by default 1 will be there, 3 plus 1 is what? 4. And in this term, what is the exponent here? 14. What is the biggest among these two? It is 14. So the degree of this polynomial is going to be 14. Okay. So in some cases, what will happen, even though a single variable may have a highest power when we compare with the product also. So as in this case, so it is going to be 14th degree polynomial but not 4th degree. So remember, whenever more than two variables are there, just we have in the same term. So when we talk about the same term, whatever the variables are there, for those variables just we have to add the particular whatever the variables exponents are there, we have to simply add them and we will arrive at our answer. So here 4 will be here, the combined exponent here, and here 14 will be the exponent for this particular term. Out of these two, 14 is the largest one. So that is why this 14 is going to be the degree of polynomial, this particular polynomial. So let me take a, b, c, d, e, f, g plus x. Is it a polynomial first? Yes. Why? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 variables are there, and here we need to determine the degree of this particular polynomial. How will you do actually? See, so this entire term as a product is a single term. In this term, so here power 1 will be there, 1, 1, d power 1, c power 1, b power 1 and a power 1. Here 7 ones are there. So here in this term, highest power I can have is 7, and here 1. out of these two, what is the highest one? 7. So this is going to be 7th degree polynomial. So that is how we determine the degree of the polynomial when it comes to more than 2 variables. Okay, so let us move ahead. So let us have a quick recap of the concepts that we have learned in our first session. See here, try this. Okay, so find which of the following algebraic expressions is a polynomial. So these are basically all our algebraic expressions only. We need to see whether they are going to be polynomials or not. So remember, what is the condition? The condition is going to be the powers of the variables should be whole numbers. So that is the sole condition needed for an algebraic expression to become a polynomial. Let us see here. So in the first one, x power 2 is there, x power 1 is there. So 2 and 1, both are whole numbers or not? So both are whole numbers. So this is going to be a polynomial. So first of all, they are algebraic expressions only. So we have to tell whether they are going to be polynomials or not. So this is how just we have to solve. So see the second one. So we have already seen 1 by a power n is nothing but a power minus n. I'm just repeatedly saying, remember our exponential laws and try to apply those whenever it is possible. So see here, the second one is going to be x plus 1 by x. How can you write 1 by x as x power minus 1? If it is 1 by x square, how will you write it as 1 by x power? It will be x power minus 2. That is how you write. Just compare with it. Here in place of a, x is there. In place of n, 1 is there. X power 1. Just if you take it to the without this particular fractional part, just we can write it as x power minus 1. Now see, here x power 1 is there, here x power minus 1 is there. So 1 is a whole number, but minus 1, is it a whole number? No. So that is why it is not going to be a polynomial. So it is not a polynomial. So this thing, just we can rule it out, it is not a polynomial. This is the polynomial that we have seen. Now see the third example, root y minus 8. So already in our radicals, okay, just keep in mind whatever the things we have just learned in our first chapter, I am just reapplying them here also. Root y, how can you write it as y power 1 by 2? Okay, if it is cube root y, it will be y power 1 by 3. If it is fourth root y, it will be y power 1 by 4. So nth root y means y power 1 by n. That is what we have seen in our radicals chapter also. Now see, y power 1 by 2 is there, right? 1 by 2 minus 8. Now see, the power of y, the variable involved is 1 by 2. Is 1 by 2 a whole number? No. But what is the condition that is needed for a polynomial? The powers or the exponents should be whole numbers. So this is violating the definition of a polynomial. So that is why it is not going to be a polynomial. So our answer is, it is not a polynomial. Now see this one, z power 5 cube root of z plus 8. Just now I have told you how to write the cube root of any number in the exponential notation. This is radical notation. How will you write it in exponential notation? So this is z power 5 minus cube root of z means z power 1 by 3. Okay, nth root of z means z power 1 by n. So like that it will be 8. Now just compare the powers. It is whole number. Is it a whole number 1 by 3? No, it is a fraction. So that is why it is also not a polynomial as this particular expression is concerned. So this is a polynomial. This is not a polynomial. This is not a polynomial. Again, this is not a polynomial. So for this particular, try this. Just you can see the solutions. So these are in detail. Just if you want to go through it. So the first one is a polynomial, second one is not polynomial, third one is not polynomial, and fourth one is also not polynomial as this particular example is concerned. So just now we have seen what is the degree of the polynomial. So we shall take an example for that. See, find the degree of the polynomial. So find the degree of the polynomial in this these cases. Okay, the first one, 5 power x minus 6x cube plus 8x power 7 plus 6x square is given to us. Okay, now just focus on only the exponents. Here x power 1 is there, x power 3 is there, 7 is there, 2 is there. Just you write 1, 3, 7, 2. Out of these, what is the highest value? 7. So this is going to be 7th degree polynomial. That means I can say that this thing, the first one, the degree of this polynomial is going to be 7. Now just let us come to the second one. Now see, here it is going to be 2y power 12. Just forget the coefficient when you are dealing with the degree and all. So the degree, that means exponent is 12 here, 10 here, 15 here, 1 here, and nothing is there. Can I write y power 0 here? That means y power 0 is always 1. Okay, so since it is uniform in y, I can assume, okay, so we shall know, we shall be discussing why this is important to write 1 is equal to some variable power 0 in our forthcoming discussions. So but for now, just see the powers here. What are the powers? 12, 15, 10, 1, and here 0 is there. Out of that, what is the highest value there? 15. So that is why it is going to be 15th degree polynomial, or I can say that the degree of this polynomial is going to be 15. Okay, now let us see the third one. So this is x power 1. So x power 1, so here what is the highest, only one term is there. In the one term the variable is having the power 1, so that is why for this particular case I can say that 1 is the degree of this particular case. Now just very important thing here, just we are going to discuss an important point here, just keep in mind here a constant is there. Remember the degree of any constant, non-zero constant for self, okay, degree of non-zero constant. So degree of non-zero constant, that means it should not be a 0. Okay, you can take any number, constant means it can be any number except 0. In that case the degree is going to be 0. Okay, why? See here, if 8 is there, 8 into 1 will be there. So 8, suppose if I say it is a polynomial involving a variable x, can I say x power 0? If it is involving y, it will be y power 0 as also 1. So in one place just I can write x power 0, y power 0, z power 0, anything I can write. But see, in all these cases the degree, that means the highest power of the variable, okay, always focus on the variable's power. Okay, here the variable is x and the degree whatever we have, the power we have is 0. So remember the degree of a non-zero polynomial is going to be always 0. Okay, that means for a constant the degree is going to be 0, non-zero constant, remember. So we shall see what is the degree of a 0 polynomial later. So for just now remember, for 8 or any number you take, for pi, whatever the number you take except 0, in that case the degree is going to be 0. Why? Because we can write some variable power 0 which is 1 into that number. Okay, so for this variable the exponent is going to be 0, so that is why this particular 8 the degree is going to be 0. I can write x power 0 here, so here it is going to be 0 in this case. So this is what we should remember in case of our constant. Okay, this is going to be constant, non-zero constant. What if it is 0? So we are talking about the case where it is a constant but it is not 0. What will happen if it is 0? That is what we are going to see now. Just observe one thing. Suppose as the fifth question I will take 0. What is the degree of 0? That is what I am asking. So this is a non-zero constant, but here our constant is becoming 0. What will happen in this case? 0 multiplied by anything. Suppose if I write 0 into x power, let us say 0, 0 into x power 1, 0 into x power 12, whatever I write, what is going to be the answer? 0 only. Why? Because 0 into something will be 0, 0 into 1 will be 0, 0 into x will be 0, 0 into x power 12 will be 0, 0 into x power 100 will be 0. In all these cases, what is the answer? It is going to be 0. So that is why, just keep in mind, for a 0 polynomial we call it as also 0 polynomial, or we can say that a constant which is 0, in this case degree is not defined. Degree is not defined. That means in the question, suppose if I ask you what is the degree of 0 polynomial, or simply if I say 0, then what is the answer? It is going to be not defined. It is not defined. Why? Because there are many possibilities as such cases. But if I say constant, I can always assume x power 0 only. So this is the fixed one, y power 0 only. Okay, whatever the variable I take, for a single power I am getting this constant again back. But see, whenever my 0 comes into play, what is happening here? Irrespective of the variable power we are multiplying with, the answer is remaining 0. So that is why here, if you observe, the degree of 0 polynomial or simply the degree of 0 constant is going to be not defined always, remember. But for a constant, the degree is going to be 0 except for 0. For 0, the whatever the degree is going to be is there, that is not going to be defined. See, it is not defined. So let me simplify it in few steps here. See, for 0 polynomial, just we can see that for any 0 polynomial the degree is undefined. So for 8 it is defined, it is 0. For 9 it will be 0. For any constant for that matter you take, the degree of that polynomial is going to be, suppose if only a number is there, like if I am giving you pi, so some polynomial, is it a polynomial or not? Yes. Why? Because here first of all it is also an algebraic expression where you can assume x power 0 or y power 0. Just we have seen that algebraic expression is combination of variables, numbers followed by some mathematical operations as such. We can always assume a constant as an algebraic expression also, that is a constant one. Okay, so whenever a constant is given to you, it is going to be a polynomial also. Why? Because for that particular constant, just we can assume power 0. 0 is a whole number, so that is why this entire thing will become a particular, whatever you can say, it is going to be a polynomial. In this case, any constant is given to you except 0. In that case, what we can say, the degree is going to be 0. If 0 is alone given to you and they're asking you what is the degree of a 0 polynomial, it is undefined. Very, very important point, just you have to keep in mind. For any constant other than 0, the degree is going to be 0. For 0 itself, the degree is not going to be defined. That means undefined in this particular case. Okay, let us move ahead. So in the last class, if you remember, just we have seen one sort of classification of the polynomials, that is depending upon the number of variables involved. That means if only one variable is there, we can say that it is going to be one variable polynomial. If two variables are there, that is going to be polynomial in two variables. So three variables are there, it is going to be polynomial in three variables. That is what we have seen. Okay, now we are going to see one more sort of classification, that is based upon degree. So just we have discussed what is the degree. So depending upon the degree, just we can give the name for that particular polynomial. So first one, let us say a constant polynomial. Okay, already we have seen for any constant what is the degree, that is going to be 0 for sure. Suppose if we have 7, pi, whatever, these are going to be constant polynomials, and in all these cases, these are numbers only. For these cases, the degree is going to be 0, or we can say that 0 degree polynomial or a constant polynomial. Now we have linear polynomial. So I will make you clear why it is linear, why it is called quadratic, why it is called cubic, and in forthcoming discussions. But now see what is linear polynomial. The degree is going to be 1. Now see here x plus root 2, x plus root 2. Some of you might think that this root 2 is there, this is x plus 2 power 1 by 2. Here the power is not a whole number, it is not a polynomial. So keep in mind, the powers of the variables should be whole number. Here whatever the constant is there, that is immaterial. Okay, you take 8th root, 9th root, whatever, it is going to be immaterial. But for the powers, here it is 1, it is a whole number. The constant, always don't focus on the constant. Just keep in mind, to classify the polynomial or to just find the polynomial, we have to keep in mind the exponent of the variable that is involved, that is going to be a whole number. That is the sole condition needed. So here 1 is there, so first degree polynomial or linear polynomial. Here minus 8x is there, minus 8x is there. So here x power 1 is there by default if nothing is there. So that is why it is also going to be our linear polynomial. Now see here, 5y minus 3 by 2, 5y minus 3 by 2. So 3 by 2 is the constant, don't focus on it. The only variable involved here is y. Even if only minus 3 by 2 is given to you, it is going to be a constant. That is going to be 0 degree polynomial. Why? Because I can write y power 0 or z power 0 or x power 0 according to the variable involved. Okay, suppose if I say it is polynomial in x, I will say that polynomial in x. So this is the representation, that is where we are going to see it shortly. So see here, this is the power 1, highest degree is 1, so this is also going to be linear polynomial. Basically, in case of linear polynomials, the degree is going to be 1. In case of constants, the degree is going to be 0. That is what we have to keep in mind while dealing with the classification based upon the degree. Now what is this quadratic means? Quadratic means what? So 0 is over, 1 is over 2. So if the given polynomial is of the degree 2, in that case we can say that that is going to be a quadratic polynomial. Now in all these cases, what are the examples? Just you can go through it. The degree is going to be 2. That means highest power of the variable, any variable. Suppose if I say x into y, is it a quadratic polynomial or not? Yes. Why? Because 1, 2. So remember, whenever this is going to be the confusion case. Okay. Why? Because two variables are in product. In that case, what we will do, we will add the powers of the variables. Here also this is going to be second degree. Suppose if I say x, y, z, here it is going to be third degree polynomial. That is what we have seen. In a single term, if there are multiple variables involved as a product, we have to add the powers to arrive at their particular degree, whatever it is. Okay, so that is what we have seen with respect to quadratic polynomial. So the last thing is going to be cubic polynomial. Cube means what? Generally 3. Okay, power 3. That means the degree of the polynomial, if it is 3, then we can say that it is going to be the cubic polynomial. So see, on all these examples, whatever we have, the variable is having the highest power. Suppose see, we have x cube plus x square. Okay, Here highest power is what? 2. Highest power is what? 3. So here it is going to be cubic. We have to see the degree. Okay, here the variables are involving the powers 3 and 2, out of which 3 is the biggest one. So that is why it is going to be cubic polynomial, as we are classifying based upon the degree here, right? So likewise, just if it is fourth degree, we call it as a biquadratic polynomial. If it is from fifth degree onwards, we call it as simply fifth degree polynomial, sixth degree polynomial and all. Just we won't use specific notation for that. So till 4, just for the fourth degree polynomial, just we can use biquadratic polynomial. So this is the one sort of classification by taking the degree into parameter. So in the first classification, we have seen how we can classify depending upon the number of variables involved. If the number of variables involved is 1, we just call it as 1 variable polynomial, 2 variables polynomial, 3 variable, 4 variable, like that. Okay. In this particular case, what we are doing, just we are focusing on the degree. If the degree is 0, it is going to be constant. If the degree is undefined, remember it is 0 polynomial for sure. If it is there is one more case left. If it is 0 itself, for this particular case, the degree is undefined. So undefined degree polynomial is going to be 0. So for constant it is 0, for linear it is going to be 1, for quadratic it is going to be 2, and for in case of cubic we have 3 as our degree. So this is how just we can broadly classify the polynomials depending upon the degree. Remember, fourth degree polynomial we also call it as biquadratic. Okay, biquadratic polynomial. Okay. So now we shall discuss an important concept, that is the value of polynomial. Okay. So before that, just let me explain a basic thing to find the value of this particular polynomial. So before actually proceeding into the value of the polynomial, we should know how to just notate the given particular polynomial. Suppose if any polynomial is such, let us say x square plus 3x plus 6 is there. Okay, 6 is there. Now can you see what is the variable involved? Only x. So we generally write it as polynomial in x. Polynomial in x. That means for this entire polynomial there is only variable x. Suppose if it is t square plus 9t plus 6 plus 6. How will you write it as? What is the variable involved here? T. So we will write it as p of t or f of t, whatever it is. But generally in case of polynomials we use the letter p of x. That means only variable x will be there. P of t, only variable t will be there. Suppose if it is p of xy. So as you are guessing, it is right. There will be two variables. Let us say x square y. Okay. Since there are two variables involved, this is how just we notate. Okay. This is what we call notation of the given polynomial. That means there is a polynomial which is involving two variables. What are the variables? Here x and y. So this is how just we notate the given polynomial depending upon the number of variables. Okay. Suppose if there are three variables as such. Suppose it is like a square, b power 4, c power 6. Okay. Is it a polynomial? First of all, tell me. Here the power is 2, the power is 4, the power is 6. Three variables are there, and for those all three variables, the powers we have, the exponents are going to be whole numbers. So it is a polynomial. So in what variables? A polynomial in a, comma, b, comma, still there is c. So this is how just we notate the given polynomial. So this is what we call notation of the polynomial. So how many variables are involved? In bracket just we have to mention them p of, like this is the notation. So let me take a last thing, like suppose if p of let us say m n o p. How many variables will be there? P 4 variables will be there. So the polynomial should be like involving all m square plus n cube. I am taking a random values, no problem. O power 4, this is O, not 0, plus p. So since in my expression, that means in my polynomial I have 4 variables, so I have to write it as p of whatever the variables I have, just I have to take them into account. So this is what we call notation of the polynomial depending upon the variable involved. Now once it is clear to you, it is very easy for us to find the given value of the polynomial. Let us see how. Okay. So before actually going into that particular side, let me take an example. Let us say there is p of x. So as I said, it is p of x. What variable will be involving? Let us say only x will be there. Can I write x plus 2 as p of x? So just it will be given to you. So just p of x. If I ask you what is p of 1? If I ask you p of 1. If you recollect the things, This is exactly what we have done in our algebraic expression in our 8th class to find the value of the given algebraic expressions at a certain value. Here p of x is given to us as x plus 2. Okay, we are asked about p of 1. What we have to do here in this expression, that means in this polynomial, in place of x, x is there. Here in place of x, what you have to give? Only 1. So wherever you find x, simply substitute 1. It will be 1 plus the remaining things apart, it will be 2 only. So it will be 1 plus 2 is what? 3. What is p of 1 then? 3. If I ask you what is p of 0, okay, so p of x is given as x plus 2. In place of x, what I have to keep now? 0. So 0 plus 2. What is the value? It will be 2. So p of 1 is 3. P of 0 is 2. Okay. Let me take one more example. Okay. Suppose if there is a p of x, y. So as I said, how many variables are involved? 2 variables. So in the expression also I should give, in the polynomial also I should give 2 variables. Let me give x square y plus let us say y square. Okay, so this is given to you. Okay, is it satisfying or not? So this is how just you write p of x, y. Okay, now I'm asking p of 1 comma 2, 1 comma 2. So remember, this order is very important. In place of x, what is there? 1. Wherever you find x, just you have to substitute 1. Wherever you find y, you have to substitute how much? 2. Just remember, see here, in place of x, what I have to substitute? 1 square. In place of y, I have to 2 plus it will be y. In place of y, we have 2. It will be 2 square. So 1 square into 2, it will be 2. What is 2 square? It will be 4. What is 2 plus 4? It will be 6. So remember, don't do any mistakes in this particular operation. We are using BODMAS, okay, multiplication followed by addition. So that is going to be 6. So even if there are 3 variables, 4 variables, the story remains same. So this is going to be a simple thing. So in the given whatever the polynomial which is involving variables, you will be asked to find the value of that particular polynomial if you substitute something. Why? Because these are variables, right? These variables will be changing upon the given value. Okay, that means if I assign some value, it will be giving out the other. So like that, when I just assign random values, it will be keeping giving us, it will keep giving us different values. So when I just substitute x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 2, these are the values I am getting here. Okay, so just let us move to that slide now. So let us take the example from this particular slide. So this is the polynomial. So f of x or p of x, that is notation, right? Generally we use p of x for polynomials and all. We can take also f of x, no problem. It is a function of x. That means this thing is an entity which is having a variable x. Okay, that means if you just assign some value for this particular x, it will keep giving us some random values, like depending upon what you substitute here. To find its value at x is equal to 3. What we have to do? Wherever you find x, we have to replace with 3. So f of x is given to, like at x is equal to 3. What will happen? F of 3 you will write, in place of x you have to write 3. So wherever you find, so 3 into x square, 3 square minus 4 into x. So like that, if you see, that is going to be 70. Okay, now just one more example has been taken, but x is equal to minus 2 substitute. What will happen? For the same thing, what are the polynomial given to us, we are doing, wherever you find x, substitute minus 2. So here 3 into minus 2 square, keep in brackets, so otherwise it will go wrong. So minus 4 into minus 2 plus 2, it will, what we will get? So 3 into minus 2 square, minus 2 into minus 2 plus 4. So 4 into 3, it will be 12, plus minus of minus, it will be plus 8 plus 2, it will be 22. At x is equal to 0, at x is equal to 1 by 2. So you will be asked to find the given value at any random value that you can. Suppose if you want to find it at value at x is equal to root 2. So that means it can have any value for that. You can assign. So since it is a polynomial, first of all, is it a polynomial or not? Here the powers are all whole numbers, right? So this is going to be a polynomial. So that is why we can find the value of the given polynomial depending upon the values given to us. So that means a polynomial will be given, and for that polynomial, what value it will just attain at the given whatever the variable value. That means this is the variable, right? We can assign anything. Just I may ask you to assign x is equal to 3. I may ask you to assign x is equal to 5. So depending upon the values that you substitute for x, you are going to get different values. These are going to be the values of a polynomial at the given allotted number. That means you will assign a particular value to the variable such that that entire polynomial in return will give you a value. So that is what we want should know in case of the value of polynomial. Okay, So here I have taken one more example. Find the value of the polynomial 5x minus 4x square plus 3 at x is equal to 0, at x is equal to minus 1. The same polynomial is given and they're asking the value of this particular one. So write always whatever given to you, assume it as p of x. Why? Because how many variables are there? Only one variable, that is x. So you will write it as p of x is equal to this much. And wherever x, first case, at x is equal to 0, p of 0. Why? Because wherever you find x, just substitute 0. P of 0 is equal to 5 into 0 minus 4 into 0 square plus 3. So that is what you will get 3 in this particular case. In the second case, x is equal to minus 1. So wherever you find x, just substitute minus 1. So you will get minus 6 as your answer. So this is one more example just I have taken to make it clear. Okay. So let us move ahead. Now let us see one more important concept related to the polynomial, that is 0 of the polynomial. So what is this particular 0 of the polynomial means? Let us see. Okay. So 0 of the polynomial. As the name suggests, suppose, let me take an example. Suppose p of x is equal to x plus 2. Okay. X plus 2. Here I'll substitute minus 2 in place of x. Minus 2 in place of x. So minus 2 plus 2. What is the value becoming? 0. That means I have substituted a value, let us say a, which is equal to minus 2. So I don't know what exactly, so just I'm by random experiment, just I'm just substituting x is equal to minus 2 here. So minus 2, when I substitute it, so what I'm getting, the value of a polynomial is becoming 0. That means I can say that the 0 of the polynomial is that, so whenever you take x is equal to a, you are substituting some value. If the value of the entire value of the polynomial is becoming 0, then whatever the value you substituted at the beginning is known as the 0 of polynomial. We shall take example. See, so in this case, what I have substituted? Minus 2. After substituting minus 2, am I getting 0 as my result? Yes. So in this case, I can say that minus 2 is 0 of this particular polynomial. That means it is the number or it is the value which makes the entire value of the polynomial as 0. As we say in this particular case, whatever the examples you have taken, suppose let us say this is x minus 2 I have taken. So p of x is equal to x minus 2. X minus 2. I will ask you verify whether 2, that means x is equal to 2 is 0 of this particular polynomial. How will you check? Just simply substitute x is equal to 2. Find p of 2. Find just p of 2. So 2 minus 2. What is the answer? 0. So if you are getting 0 after substituting x is equal to 2, this x is equal to 2 itself we call it as 0 of the polynomial. Okay. So let us take few examples to understand this particular concept. So it is very easy here to understand. Whatever makes the value of the polynomial 0, we call it as 0 of the polynomial. Okay. So see in this case, for example, see in this case, particular case, what is happening for the polynomial p of x. So this is what we have seen in the first example. So let me take the second example. So in the second example, for polynomial g of u. So why? Because we can assume anything, right? So it is in u. Substitute 3. Okay, g of 3. What is the value of g of 3 here? 0. So when you substitute u is equal to 3, what is the value of the polynomial? 0. So that is why 3 is the 0 of the polynomial g of u. Okay. Now as in this case, see here. Suppose in the same thing, if we substitute 2, g of 2, what is happening? 2 square minus 5 into 2. That is what we have seen how to find the value of the polynomial. So we are getting again 0. So 2 is also 0 of the polynomial. So 3 is also 0 of the polynomial. That means here whatever the value you are substituting, if it is just making the total value as 0, then we say that it is going to be the 0 of polynomial. So this is about the 0 of the polynomial. So I hope it is very clear to you. So we shall meet in the next session. So till then, keep revising these particular things. So have a great day ahead. So thank you all. So let us wind it up.